We have never been able to determine, and I've asked this question, where our money's invested. And I find that somewhat disturbing. But if you say we can't do it, if you say I can't do it under reconsideration, fine, so be it. But I find it very disturbing that we cannot ask a simple question of where our money has been invested. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Oliver.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have two quick items. First of all, in the information package on page 55, page 53, Bob Fields had provided an information piece to us with respect to our recycling, and that was in response to a request I'd made, having seen something on CBC television, I think, about the fact that companies that buy recyclables are getting that much tighter as to their restrictions and what they will allow. And Lee, I'm going to look to you for some help on this, but on the flip side, on page 54, it says that in 2017, our residue percentage was 8.9%. In other words, 8.9% of the stuff that had gone into the blue box, or the two-box recycling, was deemed to be unacceptable and therefore had to go out and just go in the garbage. And while that seems like a fair bit, as I recall, that's quite a bit less than the municipalities that were referenced in that CBC article. So I would like, Mr. Chair, if you could, to ask Lee just to verify if I'm right about that. Is there sort of an average residue rate across Southern Ontario for comparable municipalities like us?
Through the chairman to council, we can certainly provide that information. We are below sort of the average throughout the municipality. I'm going to say sort of in the industry, as long as we're below 10, with the current things that we have in place, we're considered to be doing quite well. So we are in fact doing very well for the type of collection that we have. Obviously, if we made some other changes, we could absolutely do that. But at this time, using the program that we have implemented, we're doing quite well in terms of our residue level.
I think it's important for our residents, and perhaps through the media or those watching may pick up on this, but that's still, whether it's that 8.9% or the 9.9 to date in 2018, that's still a fair amount of the material in your blue box that is not acceptable. So I think it behooves us as residents to be as careful as we can about what we put in those boxes. What do they say? If in doubt, throw it out. Don't contaminate the recycling if you're not sure whether it's acceptable or not. So I appreciated that from Bob, and I'm glad to hear we are at least better than many in Southern Ontario. The only other thing I wanted to bring forward, Mr. Chairman, on Sunday, I did go to the annual meeting of the Turkey Point Properties Owners Association. I brought regrets on behalf of the mayor, told them you were away at FCM, and they appreciated your support, and they especially asked me to say thank you to Councillor Wells, who for many, many years has faithfully attended their annual general meeting every year. It was another good one, but I can tell Councillor Wells that he was missed. So thank you for that.
Okay. Mayor Luke.
Just a couple of items. I'll be very quick as well. My first question is through to Lee Robinson. Lee, before I ask my question, first of all, say I want to thank you and staff, and there are many more people involved in some of the remedial work, temporary remedial work, and keeping things going as best as possible at Long Point since the bridge became not as usable as it should be. But I did get a call today wondering about the bulky pickup that is scheduled, and to be honest, I haven't had time to look when it is in Ward 1. Just wondering if that has been canceled or will continue, and again, I don't know when it is, so I just said I would ask you, and I thought that'll take a second for a response, and I'll get back to the individual.
Through the chairman to council, at this point, we have not made a decision with respect to the bulky item pickup. The bulky item pickup for that area is scheduled for the last week of it, which would be, forgive me, I don't have the date off the top of my head. It's the week of the 18th, so it would be the 18th of June. We are currently working, as council is well aware, on the interim solution. Once we have a better idea with respect to the interim solution, we'll be able to advise the residents there how we intend to address the bulky item pickup at this point.
And that's exactly the answer I expected. It's a wait and see. It's something that we still have another full week before we even have to start thinking about that, and that's fine. Mr. Chair, Councillor Black made some very nice comments earlier this evening when we dealt with the report that Michael Simos had on carbon reduction and environment, yeah. Concerning the Delhi Administration Building becoming one of the first Energy Star in Canada, and so I'm not going to repeat Councillor Black said, but I do want to pass along Council's congratulations to all staff. That is an incredible achievement here in Little Norfolk County in the former town of Delhi to be at the top of the pile across Canada for that achievement. So congratulations. We certainly have staff make all of us proud from time to time. I just want to mention this Saturday, some of us will be at the AGM for the Long Point ratepayers at 10 o'clock this Saturday morning, and some staff will be there. I appreciate that. And then from there, I head down, and I know there will be others hopefully come, even if they drop in. It is our Norfolk County Firefighters Annual Competition at Silver Lake Park, and that starts around 8:30 and goes probably till 3 o'clock, so I'll be heading down there hopefully by noon. The last thing I just want to briefly say is, as you're aware, I just returned along with the county manager, returned on Sunday, and county CAO returned yesterday from the CFM, or FCM. What time is it? It's not, it's later than that. From the FCM conference, and there certainly will be a full report coming back to council from the CAO and myself. And I want to tell you, it was the first time that Norfolk was represented there. It truly is an amazing conference, and certainly you'll see more, I think, forthcoming benefits from belonging to that organization when we give our report. And I want to thank this council for giving me that opportunity. And hopefully some of you maybe will get that chance to go another year. Mr. Chair, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Luke. Just want to say that while the mayor was at that conference in Nova Scotia, I had the pleasure of attending on his behalf and council's behalf the grand opening of Phase 3 of the Delhi Community Health Center. Councillor Wells, Councillor Oliver, and Councillor Black were in attendance also. Everything went well. It was a nice day, a few sprinkles, but it's a $3 million expansion, and $1.5 million was donated by the Archie and Irene Verspeten family, and hence it's called the Archie and Irene Verspeten Family Wing. And just wanted to say that 20 years ago, Delhi was faced with one doctor, and he was ready to move on to another community, and now there are 10 doctors there and 3 more to come. It was also announced that there's 2 programs going to be taking place there. They were awarded $1 million recently, and one of them is for non-cancer pain clinic to be set up there in Delhi. And it's because of all the people on opiates to kill pain, and I guess they're putting a staff in there to offset some of those issues. And the other one that surprised me is this postnatal, prenatal for moms. There's funding going towards that. Perhaps Ms. Miranda maybe knows more about that, because there was a position cut in the health unit that sounded like it did exactly that same type of work. Do you have any comments on that?
I actually don't have any specific comments of whether there's a direct correlation with that new service. We did transfer all of those clients successfully to primary care, which is where they should be seen. And we will work with the health center to see if there's any need from a public health perspective. And we continue to work with the low German Mennonite population, which was the primary population that we were concerned about during that transition.
Great. Thank you very much. And lastly, the big concern now in Delhi is this CN rail crossing, the James Street track. any of you have been over, if you got a coffee in your hand, you're going to spill it. It's pretty rough. People are trying to avoid the rough sections, so they're kind of riding on the line. And I've tried to contact CN Rail several times. Perhaps Ms. Robinson has a comment with respect to where it's at. They don't return phone calls. There's also an issue with the CN tunnel on Ann Street now, where there's slabs falling off the ceiling of that tunnel. I know staff have been out there to look at it, but can you bring us up to speed on, we've got to keep this on the front burner because it is an issue, Ms. Robinson.
Through the chairman to council, I wish I had better news to report. We have no more success than you have had in terms of reaching CN. Perhaps Public Works staff can sit down and speak with our county solicitor, the CAO, to see if we have another avenue that we can go through to try to get some responses with respect to this. Unfortunately, the track isn't active, which is not helping us in the situation because they're not experiencing any difficulties with that section. So we'll continue to work on it from a staff point of view.
Can we put a sign up there, phone these numbers, 905 or CNN officials? Maybe that will get some attention. Okay, nothing further. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you.